Hello. I took last week off. That's my present to myself for posting every week for a year. Except for the weeks I didn't post. Anyways, Pokemon middle stages are very, very underrated in my honest and not very humble opinion. I think you're wrong if you don't agree with me. Actually, okay, sorry. I don't want to start my second year on YouTube on a hostile note, but you know what is hostile? This week's sponsor. No one. It irks me that there are first stage Pokemon that think they're so good that they just jump right into adulthood, as if they didn't need an extra stage of development. Now, I can agree for some Pokemon, this works just fine. Arrokuda does naturally feel like it turns into Barrascuda. Drowsy into Hypno, that's honestly so okay. You know what doesn't sit right with me? Diglett and Dugtrio. That's not how numbers work! Anyways, there's literally no point in boiling my milk over this. I'm just gonna make some middle stages of my own, because if you wanna really see change in the world, then be the change that you want to see. So, to get the ball rolling, I looked on the internet to see if anyone else had the same thoughts as me with the lack of certain middle stages, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that I'm not crazy, at least entirely. A common Pokemon I saw people not making a lot of sense of was Larvesta and how it magically becomes fully formed after just one evolution. What the flip? What in the mundial is this? We need a cocoon. It's literally a moth. I mean, it's a vital stage of metamorphosis. Those don't just happen overnight. So I began my artistic endeavor by drawing a lemon orb with some fur on the end, and yeah, I'm seeing the vision. I'm picking up what I'm putting down. I did go in for some feet or some appendages, but they weren't hidden. They looked shit, so actually they go. The next vision was to have some kind of head poking through, and looking at this retrospectively, yeah, this could have worked, and I shouldn't have been so scared to try it out, but I know I didn't have a great feeling about it at the time, and ultimately I trusted myself at the time. It took some time, but I'm finally working on my trust issues. It's great feeling. Thank God I did as well, because yeah, this is looking better. I didn't want to just draw a bear cocoon with some vaguely Larvesta / Volcarona features, because that's absolutely boring, and I want to save my laziness for the next design, so I went a little more out with this one. Not quite all out, but you know, a touch. After a lot of tinkering around, I finally landed on a design that hit, and I developed it some more, added some splashes of color that I picked from the official artwork, because no way was I gonna get anything on the red to green spectrum correct without assistance. And alas, my Larvesta was born. That doesn't sound right, I'm not gonna ever say that again. Nextly, it is Fakemon 2 of 4, because yeah, I kinda did an extra one, and also this Fakemon was so lazily designed that I felt like I kinda owed you guys a solid original 3 with the bonus inclusion of this current fucky design. So yeah, Diglett, how bloody dare you evolve into not 2Glett? Why jump from 1 to 3? There honestly might be a very valid reason for it that I don't know, because I do the most minimum research, if you couldn't already tell. Perhaps moles live in colonies divisible by 3, and there's a niche study about it that I should have looked up before spreading my ignorance across the internet. Who knows? As you can see, not my most creative work. I literally just took Dugtrio and removed one of them. I really wish there was more to say, but that's actually it. The color is the same and the rendering is pretty much the same too. I might actually give myself the added challenge of trying to replicate the 3rd / 4th generation art style for my polished version, and you might be thinking, Kaifa, you dumb bitch. Diglett and Dugtrio are Gen 1, so it's not the Gen 3 / 4 art style. Well, fun fact, the first 2 gens of Pokemon got their artwork redrawn in the mid to late 2000s, presumably ahead of the release of their respective remakes, and that is the artwork you see today. Funnily enough, with the exception of some starter Pokemon, we have not seen redrawn official artwork for any Pokemon since then. Unless we have, and I just missed that, but I mean, if it has happened, please let me know, because I'm not aware of it. Rightio, moving on to an actual Gen 3 evolutionary line, we have Taillow and Swallow. Now, I really did try my absolute best way back in the day, we're talking 10 years ago, to make a a Taillow evolution that fell between itself and Swallow. Here it is. It's ugly and it's just badly drawn. I'm sorry if my old art is nostalgic for any longtime Kaifadex fans, but to me it's the worst art I've ever seen in my life. That's just the life of an artist. I have a suspicion that a lot of what let my fakemon down in the past was the fact that I took it all way too seriously, and I made all of these really stale designs that rigidly followed the design and art style conventions I was emulating in lieu of original and creative work. I honestly still fall victim to this shortcoming, and a new goal of mine is to let loose and have a bit more fun making unconventional design choices and draw with a style that doesn't necessarily fit the mold of all Pokemon art. A lot of fun for me is making something look like it was drawn in Game Freak headquarters TM All Rights Reserved, but also, isn't that just what everyone else is doing? Why be like everyone else when I can just be like myself? Oh, that's so cute, Kaifa. What a self-loving icon. Nobody knows I'm sad. Alright, Taillow evolution. I wanted this to be the awkward Taillow teenager, you know? It's got some feathers tufting up on its head and it's pissing it off apparently. Its wings are just a bit too big for its body and the body markings aren't quite developed. Its tail is also a little bit bent and not as straight as a Swallow. Artful wordplay right there. It's just the epitome of awkwardness. It's bird puberty. I'm moving on. Just one more of these here middle stage fakemon to go, and we're going to Generation 8 this time. I don't know why there's a pause in between that. This is a generation that I didn't pay much attention to, probably because I've played it the least. I really did just complete Pokemon Sword once and said, yep, that was fine, and then I never touched it again. I have a special edition Switch Lite, yet somehow I just didn't pay much mind to the game itself. I did really enjoy it though, so there is that. Do you ever think about Clobberpuss and its evolution Grapploct? Because I don't. Perhaps they've got some notoriety somewhere else in the TCG or VGC perhaps. Personally, I don't really see them anywhere these days. Now this is a line that I think does actually work, kind of barely, but it does work. It's very shroomish to Breloom if I'm honest, but I think it wouldn't hurt to have another octopus in the family. A lot of what makes YouTubing really interesting is that I often say sentences that I don't think I'd ever naturally say in a regular life. I also say sentences in a really weird pacing apparently. Don't know why. Clobberpuss is a boxer and Grapploct is a jujitsu fighter, so its middle stage has to also be based on some kind of fighting. I was thinking a lot about what kind of discipline an octopus would take up when suddenly from the inner depths of my mushy brain, which is in fact made out of steel-cut oats, I happened to remember capoeira. It is an Afro-Brazilian martial art that I did as a child for some reason. My mum was super into it for a few years and thus my sisters and I also did it. Just with other children, you know. I wasn't getting roundhouse kicked by a 40-year-old at age 7. It was a lot of fun though, and as a bonus I have mastered Christy and Eddie in Tekken. This also makes sense considering Grapploct has specific design inspirations from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so it all comes together somehow, I promise. I initially tried an action shot, but when you're trying to draw a creature doing a very human pose with 8 very inhuman tentacles, things get a little bit tricky. And yeah, maybe some humans have tentacles, but you gotta understand that they are typically the exception here. In capoeira, you earn belts. The highest rank, to my knowledge, is the mestre rank, which is signified with a white belt. This belt can also have a green or yellow accent depending on the level of the rank. There are sub-ranks and stuff. Honestly, it's a lot. You should look into it sometime. It seems as though Grapploct is colored after the belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so that's why I'm doing the same for my guy here. You can see I'm doing mestre colors even though that is the highest rank, so perhaps this could actually be its shiny colors and I'll come up with a different color scheme for its regular colors. You'll just have to wait and see, but you'll only have to wait like a minute because we're about to go check out all of our fakemon for this week. Firstly, we welcome to the world Volchrysalis, the fire Pokemon, and a bug fire type. It has the ability Flame Body and evolves from Larvesta starting at level 34 and then into Volcarona at level 59. Next is the silliest and probably laziest design on this entire channel, Dugduo, the mole Pokemon, and a ground type. It has the abilities Sandveil and Arena Trap and evolves from Diglett starting at level 22. 32, and then into Dugtrio at level 36. Moving on a couple of generations, it is Krello, the mid-swallow Pokemon. It is a normal flying type with the Guts ability, and it evolves from Taillow starting at level 15 and into Swallow starting at level 27. Lastly, and never leastly, it is Lopoera, the composure Pokemon, and a fighting type. It has the ability Intimidate and evolves from Clobopus starting at level 30 and then into Graplocked after learning Octolock, which is normally a move that Graplocked learns right from evolving from Clobopus, but I gave it as a level up move to Lopoera. That is them, and those are these, my brand new middle stage Pokemon. I hope you like them. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't hold back on any criticism. I need the tears so I can cry myself to sleep at night, guys. Come on. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel. I upload every Friday or Saturday if you live in Mirage Island, just like me. Not much else to say. Have a good 4th of July and an even better 5th of July.